Welcome to the Acronis CyberApp Education Series. In this video we will talk about the vendor portal, and how it is used to create the CyberApp. You will get an understanding of what the vendor portal is, learn about the different sections of the vendor portal and how they can be managed. We will also look at a quick demonstration of the vendor portal. We all know that MSPs or IT service providers use a number of tools and services to effectively manage, protect, and monitor their clients' networks. In their day-to-day operations, they use security solutions, backup solutions, RMM, PSA, email security solutions, password managers, etc. Today, each of these tools and services have to be operated and managed independently from an independent management console that each of these tools and services provides. This is time-consuming, tedious, lacks consolidation, and therefore impacts operational efficiency. CyberApp helps solve this problem by combining all of these products and services in one single place, Acronis Cyber Platform, thereby giving MSPs a consolidated, single pane of glass. In the previous video, we saw that there are three different components of the CyberApp: Vendor Portal, Vendor Cloud, Callback Handler and Connector, and Acronis Cyber Platform. In this video, we will learn more about the Vendor Portal. What is Vendor Portal? Simply put, Vendor Portal is a web-based portal, where ISVs create and manage CyberApp. All the content and objects of the integration are created and managed in the Vendor Portal. It is like filling in the blanks. You select what you want in the Vendor Portal, name it, configure it, test it, and release it, all from the Vendor Portal. All the ISVs will have their own instance of Vendor Portal, where they can create and manage their CyberApp. As an example, if you are an ISV who wants to create a CyberApp that injects alerts of some third-party product in the Acronis platform, then, in your Vendor Portal, create the application, provide some description, turn on the alerts, and configure it the way you want, such as naming the alert, describing its payload, etc. Later in this video, we will see a short demonstration of the Vendor Portal. In the Vendor Portal, ISVs can create and manage their CyberApp and its lifecycle, define and configure extensions, connection, and mapping settings, view statistics pertaining to the CyberApp. The very first step in the creation of the CyberApp is to create an application in the Vendor Portal. Once you create an application, for every application there are three sections: application description, application version, deployment. We will learn more about each of these sections in the following slides. Application description is the section that you need to use to describe your application, such as the name of your CyberApp, its description, what features it will provide, images and video content to market your CyberApp, support information that can be used by partners in case of issues, etc. All of this information will be published in predetermined places in the Acronis platform, and solutions.acronis.com. Application description of your CyberApp is published automatically in two places when the CyberApp is released: Acronis console, and solution.acronis.com for all the partners accessing the respective areas. In the slide, on the left-hand side, you see the application description section in the Vendor Portal. On the right-hand side, you see how it is automatically used to publish it in the Acronis platform. Now comes the most important section of the Vendor Portal, application version. This is where you define and create the core part of your CyberApp, the features that MSPs will use. For example, if your application wants to introduce alerts in the Acronis platform, then it is here that you define the new alerts, its payload, etc. If your application wants to create a new page in the Acronis console, then it is here that you define and create a new page and its elements. This section consists of everything that you can do to introduce the features of your products and services, such as alerts, widgets and reports, workloads, a new menu, protection plans, etc. All of these are called extension points. Extension points will be covered in details in another course. Callbacks and connection setup form are also configured here. These are also explained in detail in later courses. In the slide, you can see the UI for the application version in the Vendor Portal. The left-hand menu that you see in the image are all the different things that you can customize and configure for your CyberApp. Once you have created the application description and the application version, we are ready to deploy the application, so our partners can use it in the Acronis platform. Currently, you can only deploy the application to the test environment from the Vendor Portal. In the test environment, you can test your CyberApp and perform all the necessary checks to ensure it is working correctly, as intended. On successful review in the test environment, you can make a request to Acronis for deployment to the production environment. In this case, Acronis will review and approve, prior to deployment. While deploying, you can select the specific version of the application description and application version, and can also deploy it to specific data centers. Say, for example, you only want to release your application in North American data centers. In that case, select the corresponding data centers or DCs in the deployment request form. After successful deployment, partners in the corresponding DCs can enable and use your CyberApp. Now let's take a brief look at a demonstration of the vendor portal. In this demonstration, we will cover the application description, basic application version overview, and the deployment section. Later, in other videos, we will cover more details on application version and corresponding extension points that are part of application version. Before beginning the demo, let me highlight the example scenario that we will be using throughout all of the demonstration videos. We will be creating a CyberApp for a password management application. Assume there is an ISV who has a product that offers password management capabilities, and this ISV wants to create a CyberApp for integration with Acronis platform. Taking this as an example, we will be creating a new CyberApp for this password management service. The main task of creating this CyberApp will be to create a new page, dedicated to the password management functions. These include, getting a list of users, creating new users, and resetting passwords of the users. To add these features, we will be creating an application in the vendor portal. Then, we will create application description. Next, we will create application version. In the application version, we will create a connection setup form, callbacks, a main menu and table inside the main menu page, and then create actions to assign the functions of creating users and resetting passwords of the users. After all this, we will deploy the application and see it working in the Acronis console. We will be creating a simple password manager application. Let's go. First, specify a name for your application. This is generally the name of your product or service, which MSPs can recognize. Click on the Create button. A new CyberApp has been created. Now, let's configure it. Open the application that we just created. We will see 3 sections. Application description, this is where you add the description for your CyberApp. Details such as features, images, videos, support contact, description, etc. can be added here. Contents of the application description are automatically published to the Acronis platform, and to solutions.acronis.com once the application is released. Application version, this contains actual features of your CyberApp. This is where you enable and configure the features of your CyberApp. Deployment, this is where you create deployment requests, once you are ready to release your CyberApp. Now let's begin with the application description. Add version number, provide some comments so you can distinguish between different versions. Specify a category for your CyberApp. Since password management is a security service, we will select that category. Click Add, a new application version has been created. Now, we can add details to this version of the application description. The left-hand menu here shows different sections that you can add to market your CyberApp. Let's proceed and add data to the different sections. The Slides section is for you to add images and videos to showcase your CyberApp. Next, add the features of your CyberApp. This will allow MSPs to quickly understand what your CyberApp offers. Next, add company contact and support contact information for your CyberApp. Now, save all the details of the application description. Once saved, you can deploy the application description, or deploy it later with the application version. Demo 2, we will see how to create an application version for the CyberApp. Now, let's build the first version of the application. Open the application we just created, and navigate to the Application Version tab. A form for configuring the application version will open up. Specify the version number and provide some description. You can use this description to distinguish between different application versions. Specify the category of the application. If your CyberApp will need communication with the external platform, then specify the default base URL that will be used for communication. Next is customer mapping and enablement options. This option is for partners to perform tenant mapping, so that a correlation between the Acronis tenants and your services tenants can be maintained. By default, we will have only the first option enabled, for now. Click OK to proceed. We have just created the first application version, and now we are ready to work with it by configuring and enabling the extension points that you need. On the left-hand side, you will see a list of all the available controls and extension points. Callback section is where you set up the callbacks. We will cover this area in detail in a separate video. For now, think of it as a mechanism to perform any action that you may want via the CyberApp, for example, creating users, running scans, getting list of tenants, etc. Connection form is another control, which is needed to establish connection between Acronis and your product/service. It is here that partners enter the connection credentials. It can be username and password, or some different fields. You can customize this form in the vendor portal. We will cover this section in detail in a separate video. All the remaining left-hand side menus are for the corresponding extension points. For example, alerts. If your CyberApp needs to inject alerts into the Acronis platform, then you need to enable the alerts extension point and configure it. Let us see how to deploy the application. Select the application that you want to deploy, and navigate to the Deployment tab. In the Deployment tab, you will be able to create a new deployment request for deployment to the test environment. Click Add. A new deployment request form will appear. Deployment request is a two-step process. In step 1, you specify the targets and relevant information. In the second step, you verify the details before actually deploying. First, specify the description with something that you can use to uniquely identify the specific deployment. Next, select the target tenants that you want to deploy to. For each of those targets, select the version of application description and application version. Then, select the publishing tag in the deployment status. Publishing tag can be new, coming soon or lighthouse, and deployment status can be either visible or hidden. Once you have selected these for all the tenants, click Next to move to step 2 to verify the deployment request. If everything is fine, you can click the Send Request button. Deployment to test environment is complete at this point. Vendor Portal is a single place for ISVs to create and manage their CyberApp. There are 3 steps to create your CyberApp. Create application description. Create and configure application version. Deploy. Thank you for watching this video. You can find a full technical on our developer. Acronis.com platform.